Hello, I am Aaron Sutherland, and I am a SUSE certified instructor. In this video, I would like to show you the different learning paths we have available on our e-learning site. With more than a dozen learning paths available to meet your educational needs, we have topics such as HA, SAP, SUSE Manager, and more. To get started, we log into the e-learning site and navigate to the content library. Once on the content library page, you select the box for learning paths. The list on the right shows all the different learning paths that are currently available. We can narrow down the list by selecting one of the filters in the Topics section. Here, when I select the topic, we can see the number of learning paths available for the topic. Let's take a look at each of the topics to see what the contents of each learning path look like. Here I click on the topic, SUSE Manager. This shows me that there are 3 learning paths available. When I click on the title of the learning path, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server Administration 15, we can see a list of modules included in that learning path. We have the overview of SUSE Linux Enterprise, the Linux file system, working with the command line, the Vim editor, remote administration, system initialization, process management, identity and security, software management, network management, storage administration, administration and monitoring, and finally our course materials.
So let's have a look in this topic at managing POSIX access control lists. So using ACLs, so what are we interested in? How do we use them? How do they work? The terminology, ACL types, how access control lists and permission bits map to each other.
And that is just a small portion of the content available in this learning path. Now we'll navigate back to our content library and we'll take a look at our next learning path. Once back in the content library, we go ahead and we click on our topic, SUSE Manager again. And again, we can see that we've got 3 different learning paths. So when I click on the title of the learning path, SUSE Manager 4, Deployment and Initial Configuration, this takes me to a list of all the different modules that are available. Starting with the Introduction to SUSE Manager 4, Architecture and Installation of SUSE Manager 4, Setup of SUSE Manager 4, Installing and Configuring SUSE Manager 4 Proxy Server, Registering Client Systems, Introduction to Content Lifecycle Management, and finally our course materials.
After doing an online or disconnected installation of your SUSE Manager 4 server, you still have some more configuration work you must perform prior to being able to use your SUME 4 server in the management of any client servers.
So that is just a small portion of the types of content we can expect to see in this learning path. Now we'll navigate back to our content library and we'll take a look at another learning path. Once in the content library, once again we select the SUSE Manager topic and we can see our 3 different learning paths, and we'll go ahead and we'll click on the final one here, Installing and Configuring SUSE Manager for Retail. Again, this shows me a list of the different topics that are going to be covered. We have the course introduction, the overview of SUSE Manager for Retail, installing and configuring the SUSE Manager for Retail server, installing and configuring the build host, installing and configuring the SUSE Manager branch server, deploying POS terminals and thin clients using Kiwi images, and then our course documentation at the bottom.
This first objective discusses all the salient points to keep in mind before you start installing any software to create a SUME Retail branch server. Hardware requirements, software requirements, and configuration issues are presented here.
Again, that is just a small portion of the content you can expect to see in this learning path. I do hope that you've liked the video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.